feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride away.
Understanding is labels not only just doing payola, which for those people that don't know, payola is when companies or people will pay DJs or radio executives, or shit, they can pay the janitor at the radio station, give them money so that someone can play a record. Now, payola's been around since the inception of radio. That's why it's illegal, because they had to monitor it. We've known that's been going on. The bigger part of this radio RICO shit is the money laundering portion of it, which is an extreme version of what payola would be. Funneling a bunch of money into radio so a record can continue to play, yes, payola. But then when the radio station is setting the price higher than anyone else to funnel it back to the label, now you are, by definition, laundering money.
Right.
You're putting money out, it's getting clean, no taxes there, and then it's coming back to you as a profit.
Yeah.
That is money laundering.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this isn't just little like, yo, a DJ, some guy from East New York was hanging outside the Hot 97 office with a brown paper bag and was like, yo, my man's rap, here's 20K.
No, this is not
it's not Hove, Dame, and your brother giving Flex champagne baskets or everyone at the radio station.
Right.
It's not labels paying for DJ crews to go to the Caribbean. This is legitimately a RICO money laundering situation between the three major labels and the biggest radio conglomerate in the world, plus MS, plus any other radio station across the country.
Right.
And guys,
I said, so do you understand the red button a little more now?
Oh, Drake's lawsuit certainly added to this.
Okay.
Significantly. From my understanding, it was in play already. But with the lawsuit and people having to now show and reveal things because of the lawsuit, it certainly didn't help the labels or IR. So,
all right, man. This albino boy need to shut his fucking trap. He's capping. Listen, this is why I hate speaking on these things, because, you know, Drake fans want me to give them the narrative that they could repost me a million times. I don't give a fuck if they repost me. I'm just going to be honest with what I think is the truth. The truth is this. This radio RICO got nothing to do with Drake. Nothing. Okay? Now, has Drake's lawsuit made more eyes look at entities that are either fabricating, forcing, or allowing paid shit? Yes. Okay? But is it because, here's the thing. Drake is one of the most beloved artists that gets the most play historically over the last 15 years on radio. Y'all can't sit here, and I know this is a Drake fans like fallacy here. We can't sit here and say the radio is catching a RICO when the most artists they've played is Drake. So basically, you're hurting your own point by saying they're getting RICO'd. So they got paid to play Drake. No, but you don't believe that, right? So the point is this. They're not doing it for Drake. Because Drake, unless Drake's an idiot, he wouldn't want the radio to get RICO'd. And also, his plight isn't with radio, it's with bots, which is streaming. His plight is streaming. His fight is streaming, actually. Not plight, straight. Fight. His fight is with streaming. This idea of a red button, I think, honestly, and with all due respect to everybody involved, Mealy Mall, even with all due respect to my guy, What's the Dirt, I don't think there's a fucking red button. There's no red button to press. Drake is suing his label, and Drake also believed that streaming companies that he helped build are playing games with him at this point. I think those two things have valid points if he's going to try to pursue it legally. I think not defamation, though. I think defamation should go towards Kendrick. I've always said this. Sue Kendrick for defamation. You could sue UMG for illegal business practices if you feel they devalued you to offer you less money. That's valid. And if you want to get at the DSPs about you feeling like they're doing unfair shit as well, cool. When did we ever start talking about radio? When did radio start mattering? Drake fans, with all due respect, let's stay in reality. Don't get to K-Bot land, okay? Drake, nobody thinks that the reason why Not Like Us popped off was because of radio. I've never even heard it on the radio. Honestly, I don't listen to radio. So, let's not try to grasp for straws and grab a fake win by just claiming that, oh no, the Radio Rico is coming because Drake pressed the red button. Drake wasn't even on beefing with radio. Drake hasn't given a fuck about radio. You know what Drake cares about? Is the places he goes to. Streams, streamers. Yes, I think he believes that Kendrick used bots on stream. But let's not claim any legal action about it happen is Drake influence or that's Drake pushing the button. Let's relax. Radio been corrupt for a while. There seems to be trying to start some crackdown. If you want to give Drake the visibility or the credit of maybe raising visibility among these issues, I guess so. But if you think this is directly related to or Drake is forcing the hand of the federal government to investigate radio, I think you're full of shit and I think you're delusional and I think you're dumb. If you believe Drake's lawsuit is the reason this is happening, I think you're stupid. I'm sorry. Also, the most played artist on urban radio for the last 15 years, add them all up, is going to be Drake. So, yeah, I just want to say this to Drake fans. I got to find an argument that is waterproof. This is not waterproof. This has a lot of holes. Nah, Drake pressed the red button. And Mealy Mall, like, you even saying this, like, they're looking at you as a credible source for Drake now. You even saying this bullshit is the reason why some of this shit exists. Like, come on, dog. Come on, bro. And even then, you wouldn't even want to, like, I know Drake ain't a street rapper, but Drake don't like nobody say he's telling. That would be telling. Oh, Drake told the feds to go run up in these buildings. Huh? But even, bro, this is like so much mental gymnastics. This got nothing to do with motherfucking Drake. Maybe Drake sued Spotify. Maybe Drake sued Apple Music. But Drake's been told about streams. He ain't never been told about radio play. Now, granted, is it probably part of a silent play? Maybe, because he's getting robbed from number ones by not having airplay recently. And I ain't gonna lie, he hasn't gotten mad airplay recently. He hasn't. I don't know why. But I thought it was because he was focused on streaming. Drake doesn't use a team. Drake just drops music. So, yeah, he gets the streams. But to get a number one record, you're going to have to hire a radio team to work the record. He doesn't do it no more. That's why his records don't get a lot of airplay. And radio's been pay to play for a while. So when you stop paying radio, they're like, all right, we'll play you sometimes, but not all the time. Somebody said, I'm flipping on Drizzy. No, I'm not. Drake never said, this is the red button. Drake never said, I am gonna influence a Radio Rico. It's y'all fans that are saying it. Y'all fans are coming up with theories to support these kind of cuckoo, and y'all do it on both sides, Drake and Kendrick, cuckoo agendas, thinking that everything has to do with Drake. No, it don't. Radio been corrupt. However, an argument could be made through his corruption, it's only helped Drake, not hurt him. Helped him, not hurt him. So what are we talking about? Again, look at the lawsuit. The lawsuit talks about mainly streaming. Now it does talk somewhat about radio play. And yes, he did subpoena or try to subpoena iHeart. But generally his beef is with bots. Drake's beef is you allowed a song to go out that defamed me. Y'all all promoted it. And then these people have been allowing bots. We're not talking about radio stations. I'm on Team Kendrick. Bro, I'm called on Team Truth. I done told y'all. Kendrick does a lot of the shit that Drake does. Like, why y'all act? There's no good and bad. Like, what's up with y'all? It's about K-Bot getting unusual plays? Huh? Honestly, I think the radio stuff, I think it stems from not even Power 105. I think it stems from what I've heard. It stems from a non-hip hop station. Also, there was raids of Spotify, I believe. But I think it was overseas. And apparently that came from some country music shit. It's like country music people are... like, they claim that there was people getting paid. So that got nothing to do with... that got nothing to do with Drake. Where is it at? Was it Spotify? Was it Spotify? Okay, here we go. There was a poll-in, there was a probe from Spotify, and it was really because they were saying people could pay for their playlist, something that they actually deny. But they said that it would examine if it violated Turkish law by engaging in practices that complicate the operation of its rivals. And then there's another thing. Let me see. Drake fans, trust me, I'm one of y'all. I'm trying to give y'all every grace in the book. Let's look. Radio Payola. Let's look. Is there any video going on? Okay. Now, in 2005, there's a real scandal, right? Remember this.
I'll change hip-hop again. Change hip-hop again because the way it is now, it's no direction. The radio station, Angie Martinez, makes records and really disgraces hip-hop music. Flex is on the air with his voice is nasty. He's taking money on the table. I'm not having it. You want to play a new Nas record, he gotta pay me. I'm not sitting back letting the clowns run the rap game. Stop. Today's a new day.
Are you worried, or do you think that Cameron is in the position now where he's kind of almost taking it away from violence, taking away from wax, and kind of taking it almost to the streets?
Nah, he's...
Okay.
Like this?
I can shake it like that.
Well, in the mid-2000s, a ton of bands were caught. Or rather, their labels were caught, paying for plays on the radio. Something that's not only cringy and embarrassing, but also, in fact, illegal. The 2005 Payola scandal was one of the last great caught with your pants down moments for the music industry. Among the thousands of emails released by New York's Attorney General were glimpses of corruption.
If your station adds and accumulates 60 spins of Pat Green's Guys Like Me, we will fly a station member plus one.
Desperation.
What do I have to do to get Audio Slave on WKSS this week? Whatever you can dream up, I can make it happen.
Deception.
Please make sure the callers are women 20 to 28 years old. And please make sure they don't get caught.
And greed.
You have room for a money record this week? 311 love song Big Money Money Money.
Even stranger is how little this scandal is talked about today, despite the fact that many of the bands involved are still active. Not that they necessarily knew what was going on, or could have stopped it if they wanted to. But hey, if we can't use the internet to poke fun at washed up bands from our childhood, then I don't know what it's even here for. To begin this story, we must take a time machine back to the early 2000s. From a Virgin Records employee that outlines how much they're paying radio stations to play the new single from Blur, Crazy Beat. The amount varying depending on the station's size. Or take the case of Pearl Jam, whose label, Epic Records, spent a whopping $250,000 on a payola scheme that didn't even work. Back in 2003, Pearl Jam were just past their glory days of the 90s and struggling to get airplay for their new album, Riot Act. To remedy that, the band agreed to play a show at Orlando's House of Blues, where lucky fans would be flown in to see them in a close-up, intimate setting. The tickets were given to 18 radio stations, who would award them to listeners during on-air contests. It was a win-win deal. A huge free promo for the radio stations and extra airplay for the band. That is, assuming the radio stations held up their end of the bargain. As the email from Epic Records went, we were promised a minimum of 6 weeks of heavy promotion and airplay leading up to this club show. However, the actual airplay numbers were dismal at best. One LA radio station had played the new tracks a mere 6 times, and they were receiving 100 free tickets with airfare. The email concludes, "It seems to be a big waste of time and money, and I feel bad that I even talked the band into it." This brings us to another point about these emails. A big part of what's so entertaining about them is seeing these bigwigs get humbled. Bands who seemed so effortlessly cool and popular, in fact, needed an army of promoters to fight for call-in campaigns. For example, if you thought you heard DMX's Where's the Hood At a lot in August 2003, that might be because Universal Music paid a team of people to call radio stations across the country and request the tune. They were hired to do this 30 times per week for 6 weeks at 59 different radio stations. That's a lot of phone calls. What's also amusing is how the gender, age, and ethnicity of callers was specifically requested. For Ashanti, it was females aged 18 to 24, all black. For Norah Jones, it was simply women 20 to 28 years old. For Ludacris, it was mostly women with a few dudes thrown in for good measure. And for Brie Larson, it was, hang on a second, 11 to 13-year-old girls? Doesn't that violate child labor laws? And I'm sure some of you are thinking, okay, so the major record labels were slimy. Big deal. I don't even listen to pop radio. I listen to the cool stuff that Bandsplaining recommends on his Patreon. And hey, perfectly valid response. But before you walk away, let me tell you about one particularly dark chapter. After the initial revelations came out, the independent record label TSR Records opened a lawsuit against the majors. They claimed that, in addition to paying for airplay, the major labels had essentially created a cartel that kept smaller labels off the radio. TSR Records was a mom-and-pop operation. They got their start in the early 80s releasing dance and techno music. By the 2000s, their biggest artist was the indie rock band Get Set Go, who were flying high after their song Break Your Heart was featured on. The judge denied some sinister ass firm actually happened.
All right.
This DJ was given free tickets to the big memorial concert right after 9/11. Come on, Gary. That's like double wrong. When all was said and done, each of the record labels settled with the state of New York. $5 million for Warner, $3.75 million for EMI, $10 million for Sony, and $12 million for Universal. For a little context here, Universal had just under $6 billion in revenue that same year. So this fine was only about 0.2% of that. The money was paid to the Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, who in turn distributed it to New York State charities. The record labels never admitted any wrongdoing, No employees or executives were charged. They merely acknowledged that some of their employees pursued, quote, improper promotion practices, and really super duper promised not to do it again. Now, in case you're wondering, Payola is definitely still happening today. In fact, it has evolved to cover the world of Spotify playlists. But I'll let you peep our other video if you want to hear all about that. Alright, nostalgia trip over. Enjoy these closing memories, and don't forget to support.
Nothing more has to be said, man. If you don't get it after that, yo, could y'all? And by the way, could y'all stop saying like, bro, I switched up on Drake or whatever. Like, bro, please stop with that, bro. Like, bro, if I call niggas K-bots, y'all just want me to just ride Drake dick, man. Like, y'all just want me to just say everything, bro. Like, y'all are giving Drake credit for shit that he don't even care to have credit for. Like. Y'all Drake fans, y'all can't become parasocial. Please. Like, Drake isn't sitting back like, oh yeah, I got the radio niggas in trouble. Y'all are saying it because y'all want to make Drake seem like something that not only he's not, but y'all are battling with another fan group. Just chill out. The dude is suing his label. If that works out in his favor, it works out. Drake never filed no lawsuit to shut down the industry. That's not what's happening. And I know y'all want to feel like that because that makes you maybe understand it better. But I'm not like some shill that's gonna come. And it don't mean that I switch up on him for what? Drake my dog, I'm cool with him. But you think I'm just gonna get on him and be like, oh my God, the industry's changing because Drake did it? No. I've given the credit. He's given visibility to maybe practices happening behind the scenes. Drake ain't the first nigga that knew botting was going on. Botting was going on years before mad other people said it. Drake is the biggest artist that's kind of bringing it up. You're right. Has Drake benefited from it? I don't know, but I would probably assume so. Do I think he knows? I would think maybe not. Or he's not aware that maybe somebody botted his shit too. But I've told y'all, it's a steroid era. Everybody bots. Maybe some more than others. Like, y'all Drake fans got to stop thinking if I say something critical. It's not even critical. Like, bro, get off Drake's fucking dick if you think if you think Drake is so fucking powerful to motherfucking brother, I promise you. I know Drake's my favorite hip hop artist of all time. If Universal wanted to, they would crush Drake like a fucking ant. Like, relax thinking this guy's that powerful. Relax. He's just a rapper. Relax. I like his music. It's not going against him, but y'all are there is a growing thing within Drake's fan base where they're thinking, nigga, if he's that powerful, Kendrick wouldn't have did what he did. Everything would be stopped. So all I'm saying is that Drake's just a man. He's just a rapper. A really good one at that. Probably the best. But you don't have to take everything happening in the music industry that's way bigger than just him. Hip-hop is this much bigger of the pie. Y'all think that this is a Payola video from when Payola finally it hit a peak and they started investigating. Most of this shit, you ever heard of Pearl Jam? They're not hip-hop. You ever heard of some of these people? Like, they're not hip-hop. Only DMX we seen. And, well, NERD I think we see in there. But Good Charlotte, they're not hip-hop. If you think the feds are coming in to stop Kendrick from using bots, by the way, here's the thing too. Nothing in what I'm saying means I'm picking up for Kendrick. Kendrick, I believe, used bots. Has Kendrick done Payola for radio? Probably. And when I say him, I'm not talking about him personally. I'm talking about his team. Right? Of course. Yo, damn, all my dogs crying. Of course. But it would be stupid. Like, I hate when Drake fans are acting like Drake is the only organic artist out there. I think Drake is organic more than most. But if you think that Universal was botting other people's shit and nobody ever botted Drake shit at some point, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Now you turn Drake into somebody he's not. He's not Jesus. Don't do what the Kendrick fans have done to Kendrick. They act like Kendrick sat there and say, you do this bad thing. You do this bad thing. That's why they can't believe that Kendrick beat his bitch's ass. Kendrick uppercut the chick. Allegedly. I don't know. Beat her ass. The cops came. They buried the footage. They buried the police report. And because of how Kendrick sits up on a high horse, his own fans, even if you showed them a video now, they wouldn't believe that Kendrick beat up his girl. Because to them, he's Jesus. And that's what I'm saying to y'all Drake fans. Just chill the fuck out before you act like Drake is like this almighty, all-powerful guy. He's a human too. Oh yeah, this is the red button. He got the whole industry investigated. No. That's not what he's doing, or that's not what he did. Y'all are starting to do what the Kendrick fans do. Make the guy you like, Jesus, like he's infallible, like he's all-knowing, he's powerful, and he's without flaws. That's not what this is. Let's keep our stand-em down to a little bit. Tell the nigga to drop the album, which I'll tell him. Drake, drop your album. Usually when you're back against the wall, you drop a classic. And let's get this shit back on the road, man. Oh, now I see in the chat. Oh, it's because you're signed to UMG. What I told y'all. Tell these niggas to get off UMG. That's not... Yo, I've spoke negatively about UMG more than anybody in the world. My point is this. Don't tell me to... These niggas won't get off UMG them damn selves. So how I don't got no contracts with UMG, and y'all are saying, oh, I'm protecting UMG, but the same niggas who is mad at UMG won't get off. They won't leave. Leave. I told y'all, I make a bet with anybody. Drake gonna re-up and stay at Universal. It's a lot for nothing. It's like stupid to me. That's why I think he should have sued Kendrick. Drake has one more album left. Anybody want to make a bet with me that 5 years from now he'll still be on Universal? Come on. So how are y'all, if Universal gave him $1 billion, how are y'all saying that, oh, I'm protecting Universal? My only point I keep telling, whatever Drake is going to accuse Kendrick of doing, I guarantee at some point, probably without his knowledge, they did it somewhat for Drake too. That's why I think the only thing he has a real classic or a good case at is the defamation. But I think he's suing the wrong person. Or, sure, sue Universal, but add Kendrick to it. But this idea of I'm suing because of bots and illegal practices in terms of payola or whatever, I guarantee you that Drake has been the beneficiary of some campaign, even if he never knew. He's a major artist. If you're doing it for everybody else, why wouldn't you do it for a major artist? Let's get out of fairy tale land. Somebody said Aqua was a Pinocchio. Man, oh man. Jesus Christ. You know what I realized too? This is why Kendrick does the cryptic shit and don't answer questions. Because when fans get in the mode of hunkering down and yo, I'm gonna defend my favorite rapper, they don't want to hear nothing that don't agree with what they believe. Like, the moment Drake started doing this Pinocchio shit, and I guess he dropped a song called Red Button, everybody is like, oh, Drake is smarter than the average bear. He not. Kendrick ain't smarter than the average bear either. These niggas realize the easiest way to trick people is to leave things open-ended that their own biases could create a alternate reality that will normally lie in their favor because these people like them. How are y'all saying that the maybe potential demise or a Payola investigation coming to radio got something to do with Drake when Drake himself ain't speak about his lawsuit yet? Not even one time. Drake has not said one word about this lawsuit. Hey, Drake, why are you suing? Not one word. So I know y'all are assigning every win to him. Like, oh, yeah, we told y'all. We told y'all. Drake is getting the whole game clapped up. No. Now, I'm going to be honest, because I think radio got nothing to do with Drake. I think streaming do. I think Spotify start acting a little bit different recently because of Drake. I'm going to be honest. I think Spotify, they start fixing up. They posted Drake for the first time in a while. They start fixing up. Spotify is starting to fix up. They've been delaying all the charts. Yes, that's where I could say, and listen, I'm mad fair, bro. I'm just saying, Drake fans, get off the nigga dick. Stop giving him the credit for everything. Like, he's not the reason why the sun rose this morning. Get off his fucking dick, right? Radio got nothing to do with Drake, okay? Because Drake has been one of the most biggest and successful artists at radio, historically, urban radio specifically. His thing is more bots, and bots got to do with streaming. Now, I think Spotify is panicking, honestly, because of Drake. That's a fact. I believe Spotify is definitely panicking, and they had delayed the charts. Let's see. They delayed the charts like consistently because I think they're trying new methods of weeding out the bots. Okay? So, and I know people are going to clip me, so they're going to be like, oh, he's just hating. No, I'm saying radio, nope. I don't believe Drake got no impact there in what's going on. I think Drake got all the impact on what's going on streaming. Yes, their global charts was delayed. It was delayed for a third consecutive day. Then it was delayed for a fourth consecutive day. What I think is happening is Spotify is realizing their platform is not impervious to bots, and they got to fix up. Also, I think Drake has made that very loud and clear. Yo, bots. When the biggest artists or one of the biggest artists claim bots, they got to do some in-house auditing. Yo, who's taking money for playlisting? Who's taking some money to do this? Who is not doing the right checks to get rid of the bots? I think that's where Drake is affecting 100%. 100%. But radio, no, nigga. No. So, for the Drake fans, Spotify, I'll give you that. For radio, I think not. Usually when they come in with like radio and Payola investigations, it's bigger than urban radio. It's going on across the board. Okay? All right. Oh, let's do this real quick. So Kodak wanted to know why everybody's so quiet now that Young Thug